Bungie issues a massive overhaul to the Crucible. They issued the first ever Strand rocket and a buff to the exotic scout rifle Wicked Implement. These are all the things covered in this week's Twid. Let's jump right in and go through this entire article. This is some really exciting stuff. First thing they mention is that they have their Bungie Day Giving Festival with a variety of different prizes. Last call for the emblems if you want to be a part of that. The links are all there and you can get the emblems and all the different prizes. So let's jump into the juicy stuff right here. We're going to talk about the Crucible stuff, the mid-season Crucible update. It's not quite time for the mid-season update. That's coming 7/18. So in 5 days from now, they're going to do the mid-season update, which, side note, that's not really mid-season, is it? That's kind of like week 8. It's like late season update. But today we have 2 patch notes we managed to sneak away with. Fixed a few out of bounds spots in various different maps. We don't know which maps they did that in, but you'll have to check them. I mean, Radiant Cliffs has some pretty buggy spots. Next up, we have Whisper of Chains, reduced damage reduction in PvP from 15% to 5%. So that is a pretty harsh nerf to those out there using Whisper of Chains and rocking any sort of stasis builds in PvP. I imagine a lot of behemoths out there spamming their ice crystals everywhere are going to be very upset about that one, but probably a pretty fair change overall. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. Speaking of the Crucible, let's hear from the weapons team and see what we have coming up. Hi, Crucible fans. Following on from our Lightfall Crucible blog a few months ago, we have a few updates around Season 21 mid-season. Back when we launched Season of the Deep, we made a couple of tuning changes to the Crucible that missed the patch notes. Many of you have called out the respawning changes. We have some additional changes coming soon, but the second change has gone mostly uncommented upon, so we wanted to let you know what has changed. So a lot of people have been roasting the respawn issues inside Crucible. If you don't know, sometimes you'll spawn in and just get sniped immediately. It's happened to me a variety of different times. The respawning in PvP has been kind of horrible for a long time now. Hopefully they can actually implement some fixes here. Let's see what they have. Respawning changes. We made a number of adjustments to control and clash respawn logic. All Crucible respawn points are evaluated on a number of factors: proximity and sightline to enemy players and owned objectives, as well as proximity to friendly players and owned objectives. Previously in Control and many other objective-based modes, it is very strongly weighted friendly objectives good and enemy sightlines proximity bad. So it tries to weight respawning you near your friends, near your teammates, rather than it respawning you near enemies, and obviously does not ever want you to be involved in the sightlines of someone, because then you just respawn and get sniped. With the goal of helping players get back into the action quicker on some of the larger maps and reduce the "I usually spawn in the backfield" feeling in clash-style modes, we reduce the importance of friendly objectives and enemy sightlines and increase the importance of friendly players. Ideally, players would spawn near other friendly players, but safely in testing they seem to work well on a variety of maps, but it's hard to replicate the chaos of real 6v6 matches. As many players noticed, we turned the influence of the enemy player sightlines down too far. Oh, you don't say. Has anyone ever been killed by a super and then spawned in and they spawn near their teammates due to that being the bias for the respawn animation and logic, right? Just to get killed by the same super twice. You ever get killed by the same roaming super twice? That is painful. This causes a number of problems that many players reported. You can often spawn in the middle of a firefight, and spawn trapping is easier on many maps, it's actually probably one of the worst things is spawn trapping, especially on some of the maps due to their design. If you're trapped in your spawn and you only spawn near your teammates, then you're never leaving the spawn trap. You're indefinitely stuck there for the rest of the map until you get mercied, and it's pretty miserable. It's pretty horrible. I've obviously been on the positive side of that and the negative side of that from time to time, and definitely sucks. This also led to a sharp increase in the number of matches ending in a mercy. Yes, that's obviously going to influence that quite a bit. And the first hotfix after the mid-season patch coming next week, we're going to be increasing the influence of enemy player sightlines and proximity back to where it was before. Ideally, we keep some of the benefits like spawning near to active engagements without downsides of spawning in the middle of a fight. We will keep an eye on the feedback and analytics over the coming weeks and continue to adjust as needed. Good. I'm happy they're actually addressing some of the horrible respawn issues in PvP. Competitive division matchmaking. The other major change we implemented in Season of the Deep was an adjustment to how we placed players in competitive division matches. Previously, as discussed in this blog here, we matched players purely based on their skill and throttled the amount of division points won or lost based on how far above or below your skill is from your target skill. So basically, if you're ranked as a high skill player and you beat players of lesser skill, then you'll get less points, vice versa. So obviously, if you are a low skill player and you beat someone that's of high skill, you get a ton of points. And then they went on to, now they're going on to change that. While pure skill-based matchmaking may produce the fairest matches for players, it also diminishes the experience of climbing the ranked ladder. A player who only just completed their placement matches shouldn't immediately face off against the highest or lowest ranked players regardless of their skill. Thus, in Season 21, competitive 3v3 matchmaking is calculated based both on rank and skill, with the goal being to improve the ladder climbing experience while maintaining competitive integrity and match fairness. So if you're near your target skill, you will match at your rank rather than skill. We limit how far above or below your target skill you match, so if your skill marks you as an ascendant player, for example, you will never be considered below adept, no matter what your current rank is. The same goes for you if you're above your target skill. You'll never be considered more than one major rank above your target skill. Got it? Seems a little better. A few changes we are considering for a future season: adjusting the rank to skill limiting so that it doesn't limit you at all if you're above your target skill, listening up to division points throttling if you are too far above / below your target skill. Okay, let me know your thoughts about that in the comments. Dynamic skill ranges. Finally, we have a quick update on the feature we discussed in the TWAB a while back. Dynamic skill ranges. This is a feature designed to equalize matchmaking pools during low population times or in low population skill brackets. We built this feature back in Season 19, but there were some issues preventing us from turning it on and getting good data. We finally found a window to turn it on at the start of Iron Banner a few weeks ago and promptly broke all matchmaking. So I immediately turned it back off. If you don't know, that was when you would launch a match in Iron Banner and actually in all Crucible matches, and you found no one, and they immediately had to flip the switch and turn that off. Now they're going on to say, we are fixing the bugs we found and are doing another round of intense testing on it. We're hoping to redeploy it in a future season. I just want to stop cooking that one, Bungie. Just leave that one be. That's all for now, but stay tuned in the coming weeks. We have some exciting reveals coming before Season 22. Interesting, exciting reveals coming before Season 22. Crucible-wise? What you talking about? You're crazy. Witherhoard winner? It's time to share the winner of the Witherhoard community voted ornament. This is the one that won it. That's the one I voted for. Oh, that's not the right one. This is the one that I voted for. This is the one that you hopefully voted for. And this is the future ornament of the Witherhoard. That's going to be nice. Now let's move on down to the Hadopelagic Tribute. They're going to be doing a buff for the Wicked Implement. The reason why is because it's not quite as strong as they want it to be. They talk a little bit about the strengths of it. It was actually pretty good. Like, I used it in the Corrupted GM. It wasn't too bad at maintaining your distance and just safely shooting enemies. Like, I had 3 people using it simultaneously. We could kill a variety of different, enemies and stuff, but overall, it's just not as strong as it probably could have been, especially given that we don't have that many exotics this season. So they are doing a tuning pass to it overall. I do feel like it's balanced pretty well to be compared to other 180 RPM scouts, but they feel like the feedback of the negativity on it is strong enough that they're going to actually be giving a buff to it. So that's the buff to the exotic. They're not going to go over the exact specifics of what the buff does, but you are getting a buff to your Wicked Implement. So that's pretty cool. Solstice starts next week if you're looking forward to that. And we're going to be having the first ever Strand rocket that comes with that. We got all the armor here, and there's the Strand rocket. This is what it's going to look like. Yes, yes. So if you're ready to jump into the European aerial zone and do the usual, that's there for you. Maybe Cheese Forever will find a cheese where we can glitch it out, glitch the bonfire out again, like we did last year, and I think even the year before that. But we'll see. Next up, we have the fishing tournament results. These are all the winners of the fishing tournament. Congrats, you are expert anglers. And that is the entirety of this week's Twid. This week in Destiny, all the news that was covered. Movie of the week, artist of the week. The last bit they have down here is actually important though. This is the last week to get hung jury. So if you want that, it's there for you. So make sure to snag that bad boy. And we also have the Destiny 2 showcase is August 22nd. So make sure to mark that date. It's going to be a big reveal. And make sure you subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video. Click on the screen now to watch another video from this channel. I'll see you over in that video. Smash the like button. Thanks for watching, as always. Later.